Cool. Yeah, my name is Steve Booker. I predominantly make videos and put them on the internet, but I also dabble in photography, some design bits and stuff, yeah. I got given a disposable camera at a wedding, and I think that's really what sparked like the journey that I've been on. Is at that moment I was like, oh, this is really fun. And obviously the pictures were terrible, but you know, I was like going around and like taking loads of pictures of the wedding and took it like quite seriously. And I was like, yeah, I've got this camera, like this responsibility of taking pictures. So I think like it's definitely been something that's been in me for a long time. Yeah, I feel like I've always had that like passion to be creative, I think, yeah. You know, I loved looking at other people's blogs. There wasn't really many guys doing like style kind of blogs and stuff like that. So I thought, oh, well, I like it. I wonder if other people feel like me and want like somewhere to go to check that kind of stuff out. So I thought I'm gonna make like stuff that I would like, and maybe people kind of will follow along with it. But I've always been into like photography and video production and stuff, and YouTube came before my blog, and it was just like a creative outlet really. You know, it was like projects that I had full control over, that I could just put out there and have fun with it basically. I think that's why I really started it, just because it was quite free. That is deep. Do I feel like I've changed or impacted the world? I definitely am conscious of that. I feel like I'm aware of that, you know. Again, obviously having an audience, I think I'm aware of like the type of person that I am to them. And you know, I guess being a role model and hopefully inspiring kind of younger creatives and stuff like that. So I feel like maybe I've had an effect on people from that point of view, hopefully like showing them that this route is achievable, and you know, maybe inspire them to get out and take photos or whatever. So hopefully a little bit so far, but yeah, I definitely would love to think that by the end of what I'm doing, again, I don't know what it's going to progress into, that maybe that has had an effect on a few people. Even if it's just one, I think that would make me happy, yeah. My relationship with it has definitely changed in terms of what I do, because like I said, I didn't start this as a business. You know, I started it as like, YouTube was really fun. I got to make videos and put them on the internet, and if a few people saw them, that was great. It's very difficult when your passions become your job. I think you approach things in a different way. I used to be way more relaxed about shooting images and videos, but now I think there is a certain expectation of like the level of quality, and I think I am conscious about that. But I don't think that's a good thing. I think that you need to try and keep the mindset of like going back to when you first started, and in its most like purest form. From where you started is like, you know, I didn't really care. I was just shooting it for kind of stuff for me, and there was no expectation. So I think like it's about kind of remembering where you came from, I think, and not letting it take over in terms of like other people dictating, you know, what you should be doing and stuff like that. I would like to say that my content has gained more substance in terms of story and kind of the stuff that I'm talking about. I think that when I started, it was like not really in depth about things. It was just kind of like an overview of things, like, you know, whether it's like a review. I'm using coffee as an example again, because obviously I do a lot of that stuff. You know, a review on a coffee shop. Like now I'm more interested about like the story behind the person that has opened that coffee shop, you know. So I feel like I'm definitely more conscious about substance of my content. I also feel like they go hand in hand. Like there wouldn't be progression if I didn't start where I started, you know. And I think it's amazing looking back and going like, oh, I remember when I did that, and I remember, and it's cool because it shows development in your like progress as a creative, basically. Kit is becoming cheaper, and I think that it doesn't really matter what you shoot it on, as long as you're approaching the topic in the right way, and like why are you shooting that, you know, and what's the story behind it. I mean, for me, that's what like filmmaking is. It's like you're telling a story, and I think that's like the production should come second to that. So I think like you should always attack projects like, you know, what is the story that I'm trying to tell? Why am I making this? And then think about production, you know. And it should always benefit the story, not be led by, oh, this is a really nice shot, because you know, anyone can go out and shoot really nice, you know, B-roll and cinematic shots, but if you have a story involved, that's what really grasps like the viewer and people that are watching. For me, I never really found, you know, one topic that fulfilled my creative needs. So I feel like having a knowledge of kind of an array of stuff, like that was fulfilling for me. You know, the whole like video production, photographer, graphic designer, you know, post-production, like it's all, especially what I do, it's all blurred into one. You know, so like I do editing, I go out and shoot stills. You know, I operate a camera, I color grade stuff. Like it's all, you know, all encompassing kind of thing. So I think that you're only going to be more appealing to employers if that's the route that you want to go down, but then also like you're building up all these skills to kind of like dip into all the different kind of categories. And conversation wise, you know, you have conversation in all the topics, so it's not like I'm a photographer, like I only really talk about photography, you know. So I think that, yeah, I think it's very important, and I think that most people coming through will be multidisciplinary basically. I don't know if individual like genres of creatives will exist. I think that line will become very blurred. Once I got to a point in photography, it wasn't fulfilling for me to like just do that, and I didn't want to just do that. So that's what moved over to like filmmaking, you know, and I moved over to like doing graphic design and stuff like that, and kind of doing it all together. So it kind of did come naturally just because I was looking to do that. Like I don't think I was conscious in terms of like going like, I think that it's going to be really beneficial to be multidisciplinary. I think that I was just like looking for a creative fix in different areas. The only way it can be a negative thing that I found is like when you're chatting with other creatives that have put years and years into, you know, going down their route of being a photographer or a filmmaker or whatever it is. So I think you don't get as much credibility because you're like, oh, I do that as well, and I do that as well. I think that they, you know, will be like, well, I've been doing this for like 10 years. But I think you're only going to be appealing to work with other people because you have a broader skill set, and also to employers. Like if you can do graphic design and you're a great photographer, like that's only going to benefit you. So I feel like you're just developing skills that make you more appealing to people and to work with other people, you know. What I don't like sometimes is that I get very stressed out, you know, because you're always wanting, I think because I question things a lot. You know, I question ideas and I question like thoughts and like why I'm doing that, you know. So it's like, you know, like I said earlier, like you can make stuff look good, but like that's secondary, like why are you making it in the first place? So I think that can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming, and just making sure that I'm shooting stuff that has purpose and has substance. So that process can sometimes be stressful and like, you know, a little bit like, oh, I want to get to that point quicker. And sometimes it does happen in like 30 minutes, but sometimes it takes like a week to get to a point where you're happy with, you know, the concept and stuff. And what I really enjoy is when you're working with other creatives, like it is just so fun, like reeling off ideas and bouncing off each other, and like you might come up with an idea and then, you know, someone's got input on that and vice versa and stuff like that. I think it's like this community of like-minded people that you get to just chat and have fun, and you're all passionate about kind of similar things. So I think that's really energizing, and a really, yeah, that's for me the most enjoyable part of the process is like working with other people and everyone having, you know, a part of what you've created, and like seeing it at the end and being like, we all collaborated to make this amazing thing that we're really proud of, you know. I've worked with an array of different people, you know, some good, some bad. The best thing about what I do is that I get to do it with all of my friends, you know, and I'm lucky enough to have extremely talented friends that are amazing at what they do. So it's kind of like, it's like you're hanging out, you know, 24/7 really, because you're all passionate about what you're doing. And yeah, for me, it was really important to be doing these things and be surrounded with my friends who, you know, are really interested in, and again, passionate about the stuff they're doing. So I think the fact that you all get to do that together is amazing. Yeah, I mean, Mission Selfie is a prime example of that. So when we shot the first episode, the kind of pilot, we didn't have like our friends as the crew, and then it didn't go as well. We didn't enjoy it as much. It felt like we were, you know, not as involved in the production and not as relaxed as we could be. And obviously from YouTube, we've all done projects with our friends because, you know, we want to work with on things with our friends. So I think then we just like kind of wrapped the first episode and thought like, right, what are we actually doing? What do we want to do? And then, you know, we got Morgan, my friend, who's a producer, Jake, who shoots a lot of my stuff, to be kind of like the main camera guy, you know, Adrian shooting B-roll, Jacob, you know, so it was a real like friend collaborative process. And I think one thing that we really wanted to do is make it a really nice environment for filming, where everyone felt relaxed, everyone knew what they were doing, and you know, hopefully that came across in the final product, that it was just us kind of having fun, traveling, you know, doing something we love, is taking photos, you know. So I think that was really something that we tried for. I want to do more like photography projects, so like specific, because a lot of the stuff I do is obviously online, so I'll do like Instagram campaigns and stuff like that, and you know, I'll photograph like a lot of the trips that I go on and stuff like that. But what I really want to do is pick like a topic or like a project for photography and actually focus on that as a project. So I think that's something that I want to do more of, yeah, and I think that will, you know, help me progress as a photographer as well, because I think at the moment I'm kind of split across loads of different things, and it's like taking on one thing, another thing that comes up. But I'd love to pick like an actual project that I want to work on and like actually have it as like a showcase in an exhibition and stuff like that, and you know, pick a real story and try and photograph around that. I think in terms of what's next, I'm really interested in kind of delving into like creating some of my own products. But in terms of like development, I think that I'm just looking to, you know, tell good stories and tell meaningful stories that hopefully either inspire people or you know, tell someone else's stories that I feel like other people should be aware of, you know. So I think that I'm just really thinking about the type of content that I'm creating, and you know, delving into products myself and having fun with that, really, as another creative outlet, I think. Yeah. Is that good?
Yeah.
Cool. Wicked. We got through it all right, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice one.